I'm a 36-year-old man sitting at my kitchen table, staring into a half-full cup of coffee, trying to make sense of how a future you thought was solid can unravel in a matter of seconds. It was a Thursday afternoon just after 2 p.m. when my phone buzzed. It was Sarah, 31 years old, my fiancée of 8 months. We'd been a couple for 3 years and had been living together in my house for the last 18 months. The call was brief, cold, and oddly formal. "David, I have something to tell you. I'm moving in with Anthony. We're having a baby. I'm coming by tonight to collect my things." Anthony, 29, her personal trainer. The same guy she'd been training with obsessively for the past 4 months. The same sessions I'd been funding, thinking I was being a supportive partner. For a moment, my brain just stopped. The words didn't quite register. "Congratulations," I said flatly, without any emotion. It came out like I was confirming an appointment. "That's it? That's all you've got to say?" she asked. "What else is there to say? You've clearly made your decision." "I thought you might at least try to fight for me." "You're carrying another man's child and moving in with him, Sarah. What exactly is left to fight for?" Then I ended the call. What struck me most was how eerily calm I felt. It was like I was watching a stranger's life fall apart. But underneath that eerie stillness, my mind was already in motion. The ring came first. I called the jewelry store where I'd bought the engagement ring just 6 weeks earlier. I laid out the situation. The manager was empathetic and told me they had a 60-day return window. I'd lose a restocking fee, but they'd take it back. I drove straight there, handed it over, and walked away with $11,000 back from the $12,000 I had spent. Next was the car. Sarah had been driving a leased BMW I'd co-signed for around 10 months ago. The lease payments were automatically deducted from my account. I logged into the leasing site, deleted my payment details, and followed up with a phone call to make it official. I told them I was withdrawing as guarantor immediately. They said if Sarah couldn't qualify for the lease on her own, she'd need to return the car. Her income as a personal trainer wouldn't even come close. After that, I focused on the house. I reset the Wi-Fi password, logged out of and changed every streaming service login, Netflix, Disney+, all of them. Updated the security system, new code, canceled the gym membership I'd been paying for on her behalf, called the credit card company and had her removed as an authorized user. The whole thing took maybe 3 hours. I moved through it all like clockwork, efficient, deliberate. By 5 o'clock, I was back in my living room. Everything was locked down. I sat quietly, just waiting to see what came next. At 6:30 p.m., the doorbell rang. I checked the security cam. It was Sarah. She was crying. Mascara streaked down her cheeks, 2 suitcases in hand. I opened the door but kept the chain fastened. "David, please, can we talk?" she said through the gap. "Anthony, he kicked me out." "He kicked out his pregnant girlfriend?" I asked. "It's complicated. He says he needs time to think. He's not ready for me to move in." The entitlement stunned me. She had burned our life to the ground, assuming Anthony would just pick up the pieces and support her. And the moment that fantasy crumbled, she came running back. "That sounds like something you'll need to sort out with Anthony, not me." "You can't just lock me out like this," she pleaded. "I can't access any of the accounts. The car payment failed. My gym membership is canceled." "You told me this morning you were moving in with Anthony. That makes all of that his problem now. Please, just let me stay the night, just until I figure out what to do." "No, Sarah. You made a choice. You chose Anthony and his child. I'm simply honoring that choice." Her expression twisted. Desperation turned to frustration, then panic. "This is crazy. You're punishing me for being honest with you." "I'm not punishing you. I'm just stepping aside so you can pursue the life you wanted, with Anthony." "But I have nowhere else to go." "You've got him, and friends, and family. Find a way." I shut the door and locked it. She pounded on it for 10 minutes, crying and shouting, but eventually left. When the noise stopped, the quiet that followed was peaceful. Update 1. It's been 2 days since Sarah dropped her bombshell, and the aftermath has unfolded exactly as expected. On Thursday night, not long after she walked away from my front door, my phone started lighting up with messages from unfamiliar numbers. It was obvious she was borrowing other people's phones, since I'd already blocked hers. "David, please. I made a terrible mistake. Anthony isn't who I thought he was. I'm in a motel now. I can't afford this. Just talk to me." I took screenshots of everything. I didn't respond. By Friday morning, her sister Jessica called my work line. "What is wrong with you, David? Sarah's falling apart. She's almost homeless." Sarah made a public declaration that she was moving in with Anthony and having his child. I didn't fight it. I respected her choice. She misjudged him. Turns out he's nothing but a manipulative jerk who used her and tossed her aside. That's unfortunate, but not my responsibility. She needs help, David. She has no place to go. She has a support system. She has family, friends, and she has Anthony, the man she chose, the father of her baby. Anthony won't even speak to her now. Again, not my concern. She made her bed. "You're being cruel." "No, I'm being honest. She ended our relationship to pursue something else. I'm not a fallback option." I ended the call and blocked Jessica's number too. Later that same day, Sarah's mother, Linda, decided to step in. "David, I can't believe you. Sarah's pregnant and you just cast her aside." Let's be clear. Sarah made the decision to leave me for another man and to raise his child. I didn't throw her out. She walked out. But she's realized she made a mistake. Anthony isn't going to be there for her like you were. That's not a change of heart. That's the consequences of poor choices catching up. She needs stability now. She's carrying a baby. Anthony's baby. Which makes him the one who should be stepping up. You're being heartless. I'm being rational. Sarah chose someone else. I'm honoring her decision. And here's the kicker. I heard from a mutual friend that Anthony didn't just dump her. He's been married this entire time. His wife discovered the affair and the pregnancy, and Anthony severed all ties with Sarah immediately to try to save his marriage. So let's recap. Sarah didn't just lose her fiancé and her place in my life. She lost the man she left me for, who turned out to be someone else's husband, and now she's expecting a child with a man who's disappeared. The hits didn't stop there. Got a call from the BMW dealership. Apparently, Sarah went in trying to explain her situation, hoping for some sympathy. She was told the same thing I already knew. Without a co-signer with strong credit, she doesn't qualify for the lease. She has until the end of the month to return the car or face repossession. Meanwhile, she's been posting vague, emotional messages on social media about learning who people really are and fake love. A few mutual friends reached out, asking what's going on. I gave them the plain, unvarnished truth. She left me for someone else. It fell apart. Now she's dealing with the fallout. Most understood. The ones who didn't weren't really in my corner anyway. I spent the weekend clearing out the last of her things from the house, the items she left behind during her rushed departure Thursday night. I packed everything neatly, labeled the boxes. If she wants her stuff, she can make arrangements to collect it. I'm not playing delivery driver. The house feels different now, quieter, in a peaceful way. No more walking on eggshells, wondering if she's texting him behind my back. No more paying for her personal trainer. No more financing the life of someone who was preparing to leave me. Update 2. 1 week later. It's been a full week since the call that shattered everything, and Sarah's sense of entitlement has reached an entirely new level. Monday morning, I received something unexpected. Not a text or an email, but a certified letter. She had it delivered to my office. 3 pages of handwritten emotional turmoil, accusing me of abandoning her in her darkest hour. She insisted she never intended things to turn out this way, but the final paragraph was the real eye-opener. She demanded that I cover her hotel expenses until she could get back on her feet. and she suggested we attend couples counseling together to work through what she called my betrayal. Yes, my betrayal. She cheated, got pregnant by someone else, told me she was leaving for him, and somehow, I was the villain for not financially supporting her afterward. I shared the story with my lawyer friend Tom over lunch. He laughed so hard he almost spit out his sandwich. She seriously expects you to bankroll her life after dumping you for another guy? And she thinks you betrayed her? Apparently, she assumed I'd be her permanent fallback. Keep that message, Tom advised. If she tries anything legally, it clearly shows where her head's at. By Tuesday, reality hit her like a brick wall. My bank called. Sarah had tried using the credit card I'd already canceled. She attempted multiple purchases at different places, and the fraud team flagged it. I had to explain the situation to the bank. Then I called the card company, made sure her access was revoked, and requested they log any future attempts as unauthorized. Wednesday brought the inevitable family drama. Her parents showed up at my place without warning. I watched through the security camera for a while before opening the door. "Linda, David, what's this about?" Sarah's father, Mike, looked uneasy but pushed forward. "Son, I know Sarah made a mistake, but cutting her off like this isn't right." "Mike, it wasn't a mistake. It was a decision. She deliberately left me for someone else. The fact that it backfired doesn't mean I'm responsible for cleaning it up. She's pregnant. She needs help. Then she should get it from Anthony. It's his child, his problem, not mine. Anthony's married. He was just stringing her along. Then maybe she should have figured that out before she cheated on me. Actions have consequences." They tried every angle for the next 20 minutes. Guilt trips, emotional appeals, even veiled threats about doing the right thing. I kept calm, stuck to the facts, and eventually they gave up and left. Thursday? That's when the desperation really showed. Sarah tracked me down at my gym, the one I still go to, not the high-end one where she met Anthony. She ambushed me near the free weights. "David, please, just hear me out for 5 minutes." "You've got 3. Go." "I know I messed up. I know I hurt you, but I'm scared and pregnant, and I don't know what to do." "You're down to 2. Anthony lied. He's married. He never planned to leave his wife. I was a fool." "1 minute. I miss you. I miss us. I know we can fix this if you just give me a chance." "Time's up, Sarah. You didn't slip up. You made choices, over and over. You chose to betray me with Anthony. You chose to get pregnant by him. You chose to leave me for him. Just because he wasn't who you thought he was doesn't undo any of that. But I love you. No, you loved what I provided. Comfort, money, security. Anthony gave you thrills until reality set in. Now you're trying to crawl back to the safety net. I'm not it anymore. That's not fair. You announced you were having another man's baby and moving in with him. Everything I did afterward was just responding to your choices. If Anthony had been everything you believed, you'd still be with him, happily setting up a nursery. I picked up my towel and headed out. Find another gym, Sarah. This one's mine. Later that night, I got a text from Jessica. You're a cold-hearted bastard. Sarah's sleeping in her car. I replied, she made her choice. These are his consequences. Then I blocked her. For good. Final update. 3 months have passed since Sarah told me she was leaving for Anthony. Here's how it all ended. Things unraveled fast after our last encounter. Turns out living in a car you can't afford while pregnant isn't exactly sustainable. She managed about a week before the BMW was repossessed. I drove by the impound lot one day. There it was, back on dealer plates. Her parents eventually stepped in, but only partially. They allowed her to move back into the bedroom she grew up in, but according to mutual acquaintances, it's been a train wreck. Sarah had assumed her parents would pick up where I left off, covering dinners out, shopping sprees, and giving her a generous entertainment budget. What she got instead was a roof over her head, meals, and a steady stream of lectures about growing up. Then the pregnancy added another layer of mess. Desperate to salvage his marriage, Anthony somehow persuaded his wife that Sarah was fabricating the whole thing. He pushed for a prenatal paternity test. Sarah agreed, likely thinking it would force him to step up. The results came back. The baby was definitely his. But instead of taking responsibility or leaving his wife, Anthony lawyered up. He prepped for a custody battle while offering the bare minimum in child support. His wife kicked him out anyway, but now he's doing everything he can to ensure Sarah gets as little as possible. So here Sarah is, working part-time, living under her parents' roof, and preparing to raise a child with a man who sees her and the baby as a legal headache. The most surreal moment came about 6 weeks ago. I was sitting in a cafe near my office when I noticed her across the street, visibly pregnant, struggling with heavy grocery bags. For a split second, something stirred in me. Not quite pity, but a strange reminder of the past we shared. Then I remembered her in my living room, proudly announcing she was pregnant with Anthony's baby and moving in with him. I finished my coffee and returned to work. Just last week, Jessica gave it one last shot through a coworker, asked if I'd consider helping Sarah out. Said maybe I'd want to contribute something for the baby, since I used to care about her. My reply was short and clear. Sarah picked Anthony to be the father. These are his responsibilities now. The entitlement is unreal. Even now, after everything, she and her family still believe I should clean up the mess she made. Meanwhile, I'm doing better than ever. The house is fully mine again. My bank accounts are no longer bleeding money. I no longer have to question who my partner is texting or feel like I'm subsidizing someone else's affair. Last month, I started seeing someone new, Michelle, a 33-year-old architect I met through friends. She's intelligent, self-sufficient, and handles her own finances. Not once has she hinted at needing a personal trainer or a bailout. It's refreshing to be with someone who views me as a person, not a paycheck. There was no grand plan for revenge, no dramatic moment, just the quiet satisfaction of watching her deal with the direct fallout of her own choices. She wanted Anthony. She wanted his child. Well, she got both, along with the full package. A married man who used her, a legal tug-of-war over custody, single parenthood, and the complete breakdown of the easy life she once had. She bet our relationship on the idea that Anthony was an upgrade. She lost. And just like in a casino, the house always wins. Sometimes the best revenge is no revenge at all, just stepping back and letting people ruin their own lives.